now and then when I feel a bit buggy, I look at the floor, maybe need a new ruggy. Scratch that, I'll get some beers and get chuggy. Nah, man, I know what I need, some old man huggy. Old man huggy. Some old man huggy. Put your headphones on for proper audio quality, motherfucker.
We're back. We're live. Angry Black Quarterback episode. Oh no. Every time. Every time. Boom. And we're back. Angry Black Quarterback episode number 45. What's up, boys?
What's going on?
It looks like... Oh, my
Yo.
My shit's so goofy.
Ooh.
Always. Well, that's it. Oh, did I get it? Maybe. But we're back with another episode 45. Fuck, guys. Were you into the game? Before we got 2.0 here. We got Elwood. I thought Goody might show up. Maybe. It's possible.
Nah.
Maybe. And actually, you know what? Fuck that. Before we even get started, can I say something about it, Smellwood? Or is it
What?
a congrats?
It didn't matter.
Oh, well, congrats. Rumor on the street is Elwood's having another baby.
God damn it.
Well, that's not normally what people say.
Fucking Play-Doh. Well, no, I'm finding Play-Doh all over the couch.
But congrats, man. I'm super stoked for y'all.
Yeah, hopefully it's a boy, so Karina can get what she wants. As I told her. Clipped, twisted, done. No mas.
No more kids. That's it, too? Two's the limit?
Yeah, pretty much. This day and age, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't live on a farm. And I don't want to live out in Hazlitt, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah, you can move out to that area. I know people that have gotten houses out there. They're super nice. You can get houses on the reels.
Speaking of, who lives out there that I randomly saw at Target in Grapevine the other day was, can't remember the last name of her for the life of me, but Emily used to live over by Anna Curley, over in my parents' kind of old neck of the woods.
Okay.
Emily Shanks, she married a dude that looks just like Chubbs. She was in our grade.
I'm not sure. Looks just like
you were 05.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Like I said, yeah, blonde dude. Like, it looked like I feel like there was three guys that all looked like they could be related in that class, and it was Chubbs, Aaron Luna, and this other dude. And they all got like the box heads.
Not sure.
Well, that's not an offense. It's like they're kind of bigger.
Yeah, they
got
are.
that broader.
I got a big ass.
Oh my
head.
God, they just scored again.
But congrats, sir. Congrats. That's super awesome. Happy for you. Yeah, that's badass. And we got 2.0 here coming to us live from a secret underground spy bunker from a safe house nobody knows about.
What is that?
So this will be the last one for a bit, but I'm gonna get with y'all. But I'm working on like a revamp thing, so we're gonna change it up because I want to do wrestling. You're a big wrestling guy. You keep up with wrestling, so I'd like to get more into it.
Not recently. I've been slacking. I gotta catch up.
Well, and hockey and other stuff. There's more than just
Yeah,
football,
speaking
but
of, hockey's on right now.
I know you're
Yeah,
always.
Joe, how you like my Stars? First place, baby.
It won't last for long. Don't
Well,
worry.
that we're ahead of y'all and we're 2 games behind. It's gonna last, buddy.
They,
No, it's not.
they choke
No,
all.
it's not.
They
Why don't you
choke.
turn on the score right now to the Nashville game? It's about to be the end of the second period. Guess what the score is?
5-3.
7-2.
Damn.
Yeah, but they choke all.
Nashville is winning, I assume.
They
It's the only
choke.
logical explanation.
Nah.
They choke all the
They're
time.
not. Who?
The Stars.
Stars have been actually like when it comes to all the Dallas sports teams, Stars in the last 5 years have actually been the only and most consistent like team to actually go deep in the playoffs, make the actual championship. Haven't won it yet in a long time, but I mean they're always like conference championship in the cup. Can't say that for the rest of the teams. Maybe the Rangers looking forward, but we'll see. Yeah, speaking of that Kansas City shit, dude. Not gonna lie, right when I heard it, I instantly thought, like, I remember somewhat joking with Fleming, and I say joking because I was pretty drunk. But when we were at the Texas Rangers World Series parade, there's so many people were out, I was just like, dude, where's the exits?
Well, yeah,
But it's
I've never been like those types of crowds. Now they make me a lot more nervous than they probably would
Oh, yeah.
before, for sure.
Yeah, I didn't realize the Denver Nuggets celebration. There was a shooting too over the summer for their. I was like, God.
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
yeah, had to
well,
hear.
in Denver, I mean, as someone who lived there, there's a lot of gun violence in Denver. You'd be surprised. Like,
Oh, I mean,
as
I went
Joe,
to downtown Denver and saw the homeless problem that made Austin at the time look like fucking,
well,
you
Joe,
know.
I mean, Joe lived in the area, and I mean, like, I lived downtown, and at one point, I mean, I'm not even kidding. I was like, where I lived downtown was close to like East Colfax in this area where it all kind of mashed together. And man, like I mean, I remember the one night I would ride my bike through that area, and there'd be like a shooting overnight. I'd hear it like playing Call of Duty in my living room. I have the windows open, and you'd hear like gunshots like 4 blocks from where I lived. And where I lived,
Some
you
3D
could
sound right there.
you could see DeMarcus Ware's apart, like his penthouse was downtown. The one that got robbed whenever I think he was in his Super Bowl rings got stolen when he was playing on Monday Night Football. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't remember hearing about that.
There was a period like so he lived downtown, and there was his house got broken into, and somebody like stole his Super Bowl rings and all this shit. And you could see it. So it's not like it was a really bad area. I mean, uptown area, but like 2 blocks over, I mean, it was a war zone. And I always talk about it. It was the weirdest place. There was a, what's it called? A Good Times burger place. Then there was this area where it's like a crack alley that's right across the street. Then you have the gay bar next door. Then across the street from that, you have the Fillmore. So you have a club venue that'll play like Kesha. That's where I saw Project Pat. So they have all 21 Savage. I saw him play there. So it's always like a random group of fucking people. And then across the street from that was Sancho's, which is like this fucking hippie deadhead fish dive bar where people just like do K and like pass out in the bathroom. And at night, whenever all these things would let out, it's this huge swirling, just like nightmaric vortex of bullshit in downtown
Like every
Denver.
spectrum of
Like they all just
Denver
merge
in one
together.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, they all crush together. So if you're in Good Times, they're tiny. They're not big buildings. They're really small. It's all drive-through or walk-up window, and they're and that one's open, I think, 24 hours. That one's got crazy fucking hours, man. So if you go in there and the line's long, you're stuck in this huge parking lot in this long daisy chain of fucking cars, and it's like sitting in a bubble because there's all this weird shit going on around you. There's a fight in the parking lot over there. There's like drunk girls leaving a Katy Perry concert, like screaming in the street. These guys are trying to do crack deals over in the corner that's totally in eye view. There's like a rave going on at the gay club across the street, and then there's just like a bunch of drugged out hippies roaming about. And then there's a gas station that like chains up and boards up the windows at night, and they close at 10. So you can't go in there and buy cigarettes. So the only place you can buy cigarettes on that street is the gay bar. And they're like $12 $14 a pack. Bruh, shit was wild. But Denver, a lot of gun violence in Denver, so I don't know how I got on that tangent. But yeah, I mean the
fact that it's like multiple shooters too is wild to me. Like it wasn't just a lone assailant; it was like multiple people involved.
Were they together, or were they just random? Just happened to be they both had the same idea.
It hasn't come out yet, but that would be way too coincidental in my opinion. Like they would have to be planned somehow. There's not just like two people showing up. Oh, you're doing it too.
Well, was there?
Oh, you're strapped too, bro. Oh,
well, I'm also curious, like, because I mean, this is Kansas City. I mean, were some of the people that were arrested like trying to stop the shooter? Yeah, I don't.
And the fact that just the amount of kids that were shot, like, come on.
Well, that's why like whatever it's like, oh, Rangers won the World Series. I'm like, I'm not going out to that shit.
Bro, I was thinking it the whole time. I'm not gonna lie. But luckily, I'm not gonna lie. It was Texas, and I couldn't turn left or right without seeing a cop. So they definitely had the whole fucking place packed to the brim.
Yes, but it's not like those other places didn't. Like that's the whole thing.
No, I know. But I think it's too like Texas is kind of one of those things. I think the only shootings you hear about in Texas are some asshole going to an elementary school. Other than that, actually recently there was that mall in Allen.
I don't want to like be.
I figured people are more, Texas were one of those states that has a rep for a lot of people having a concealed handgun license.
Yeah, but that's also.
So people are like, I'm not gonna. Because if you look at it, it's all mass shooters target innocent or bystanders that aren't even able to, protect themselves in general. So it's always an advantage for the person.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it happening in that state and it being in comparison to it being Texas is like, man, because Texas, you don't have anybody can walk around with a gun without a license, without having any of that stuff. You can just carry a gun.
So mass shooters like, well, if I shoot
yourself.
up this place, more than likely Joe Bob right next to me is gonna fucking shoot me right away.
And even with those and people being strapped, I mean, like, I'm not trying to have like a whole debate on that topic.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's sad to see. It's stupid.
Totally.
And we don't really know that much information about it because it could have been two people shooting at each other, having a whole other issue, and they shoot people.
Right.
But the whole thing is, it's disheartening and dumb. It's really
especially at such a big event like that, like
it's going to be virtual celebrations. That's like the way we're heading. Like that's what I'm saying is whenever I went to a Cowboys game, it's like there's so many people and people are like hammered and like picking fights and all sorts of goofy shit in the parking lot. I'm just like, oh man.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I guess the only thing with the stadiums nowadays is you only got to worry about outside the stadium because they're pretty good with the metal detectors and shit.
Well, yeah, and going into the stadium.
Yeah, but there is a big space outside that Cowboys fucking.
Yeah,
a lot of people are getting shit faced.
Yeah. I don't know, but anyways,
good game. I thought honestly, other than the first half, I thought, man, wow. Me and Karina won 2 quarters at squares, so that was nice. But yeah, good.
Well,
I mean, who's not happy with an overtime in Super Bowl? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
And I think it's kind of bullshit. I heard it today, and the points that were being made, I couldn't agree more. But yeah, fuck Kyle Shanahan, dude. Shanahan. Like, for him, like pretty much making every other coach but him be the scapegoat and the reason why they're not succeeding. Like, I just don't get why the defensive coordinator 1 year in was fired. And watching that game truly wasn't the defense's fault that they lost that game, 49ers wise. I mean, shit, you held Patrick Mahomes what to one touchdown until overtime?
Well, I mean, we'll get into it, but yeah, I
Or
mean,
two?
it was definitely a good game. I mean, it's a 3-point game, overtime. I don't know. It's frustrating to watch. No, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I mean, I didn't think that while the
So were
first
you
half
one of
was
those
rough.
people that really didn't want Mahomes to get another one? Is what it
No,
sounds
like I
when
said,
you say it was-
well, no, what I said is that I didn't want either of these teams to win it. So I'm
Right.
frustrated.
Well,
that,
Joe's understandable because Kansas is a division rival.
yeah, okay.
So,
Well,
yeah, I get it.
before we get into it, I want Joe's take first. Joe, how did you feel about the game? How do you feel about Mahomes winning another Super Bowl? And how do you like Sean Payton's chances? That's why I've also said Sean Payton's gonna lose his job, dude, if he's going up against this for forever.
Yeah, I mean, objectively, it was a good game. A lot of people say the first half was boring. I thought it was interesting to kind of like see how their game plans were going against each other, kind of how it evolved and what adjustments they were making. But I'm a football nerd, so that stuff is just really cool to me. But yeah, objectively, it was a really good game. I think Kyle Shanahan got away from the run in the second half. I think he kind of felt the 49er or the Chiefs kind of creeping back in, and he got desperate. He started playing to lose, not to lose.
But then,
He
yeah,
started
to that
playing
point,
not
it
to
was
lose
weird.
instead of playing to win.
He went back to the running when it came to overtime, though. It was like, oh, overtime. Now I'm back to what wins this game, and it still didn't work.
Yeah, it was weird. Frustrating, of course. I'm heavily biased. I don't think the Chiefs should have won that game. But, I mean, props to Patrick Mahomes. He's the reason he's the best quarterback in the league. They just marched down the field at the end of the game, and
Yeah, for the fact for them to pull it off the first year ever where everyone was saying pretty much almost every playoff game that they shouldn't win.
Well, think
Like,
about it.
no one expected the Chiefs not only to win the Super Bowl, but not even to like keep on advancing in the playoffs.
We talked about it. I discussed how we were like they're not gonna repeat. They look really bad. This team is transformed over time, definitely. And what's wild is Andy Reid is still Andy Reid. So like, god damn it, I was right about so many things. I said they didn't run the ball that much. Pacheco 18 for 59. Then Mahomes had 9 for 66. Those are like big chunk plays. But he spread the ball around really well. I mean, Pacheco had 6, Rice had 6, Watson 3, Hardman 3, Kelsey 9, Noah Gray 2, Scantling 3.
What's y'all's
McKinnon 2.
take on Kelsey bumping into old Reed?
Oh, I mean, I think it's a bad look in general in football. Like if you played to a certain level, I mean, you know, I understand losing your cool and stuff, but I mean, I guess it's easy for me to say, but I couldn't imagine doing something like that towards one of my coaches. There's multiple times I'd want to do that.
As a big of a deal because the more I watched the clip when they were showing it, it was right when it's initiated. Andy Reid, his first reaction isn't like and it showed like just their relationship between Travis and Andy. Andy instantly like goes to grab his arm like a dad would, you know, like, hey.
No, definitely.
Like, why? What? I didn't cause this anger. Why are you angry at me? Kind of thing. And then like he instantly like once the player took Travis, Andy like there was no offense. It like didn't even phase him, and he went right back to coaching. It was just like right back to the field.
Well, that's
so, like I just thought people kind of overblew it, even though it was pretty intense.
Well, but that's when people say the first.
It's nothing.
Hold on. Whenever people say that the first quarter or first half was boring, there was like 2 fumbles. There's Travis Kelce snapping at Andy Reid, and people being like, "Whoa, are they imploding right now?" They go down 10-zip, or like, and this is like the most despondent we'd seen them in a long time, and it was holy shit. They look really out of sync right now. This does not look good. Patrick Mahomes pick, you're like, damn, bro, this is not looking good for him.
Their defense, man.
Yeah, but their defense, the Chiefs' defense, really won this game for him. I mean, their defense played fantastic. Both defenses played pretty good. Now losing Greenlaw in the game like he did to that freak Achilles. I mean, you could see.
I knew that was huge right when it happened.
Well, you could see Burks and them getting exposed in coverage, and like, I mean, obviously for Travis Kelce, for Rice, Pacheco. I mean, Scantling's their real big, like, stretch the field guy, and I guess Hardman, but he runs good routes. I mean, a lot of their stuff, I mean, 9 for 93. Everybody, though, the highest yards per catch were 2 guys with 3 catches. And everyone else is all, like, 6 yards a catch, 8, 11, 6, 7. I mean, it was just real middle of the field, real quick decisions, making a decision with the ball. And, like, Greenlaw going down, he's very instinctual, and he's good in both, but he's really good against the pass. He's super fast. So to lose him, big, that's huge, because that's like, you could lock him up on Kelce one-on-one, and he's faster than Travis Kelce is.
I think where San Francisco lost the game, truly, like, even when they were still up, it just was huge momentum swing, is, to your point earlier, 2 turnovers early, and they didn't score 1 point off of both turnovers.
Yeah, sloppy start.
Yeah, and turnovers in decent field position too. Like, it was like, okay, we should at least get a field goal out of this turnover.
Yeah, I was happy.
And that's the thing. Like, if you're gonna get a turnover from Mahomes or the Chiefs, you better take what you're gonna get, because that ain't gonna happen. So often or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you see McCaffrey fumble, that you're like, holy shit, that was huge. I mean, at one point in the game,
Was that his only fumble in the year?
no, but it's been a while since he's fumbled, and he runs so hard. But I mean, at one point in the game, Juwan Jennings was looking like he'd be your MVP with a passing touchdown and a passing catch. He had 2 of the touchdowns. I was almost pulling for that. I was like, that'd be so epic if he got it, because like Purdy doesn't throw a touch, or his 1 touchdown's to him, but then he has the catch, he throws another one. That would be so weird and fantastic. Or it'd be like a D lineman with 2 or 3 sacks. But I mean, the way they ran the ball, McCaffrey had a better, was what? Well, he actually had a pretty game, 22 for 80. But that's 3.6 yards to carry. Then he had 8 catches for 80. He did have some big long plays. I mean, he did have that long touchdown catch as well whenever he caught that little goofy screen. Where there was a couple plays with illegal man's downfield a couple times. I think the touchdown in overtime and that touchdown, there was somebody like a yard or 2 past the line of scrimmage, but they just didn't call it. But, I mean, Debo, uneventful. Kittle, 2 for 4 yards. What? Like, they shut him down.
Well, Debo was banged up pretty bad. Like, wasn't there a point where he was questionable?
No, but
he came back in?
Yeah, but it's the same shit I've said before. Is Debo runs like so hard. He is so dumb. He is such a good football player. He's a crazy athlete. But the way he purposefully plays so violent. It's like Pacheco. Pacheco, 2 or 3 years from now, I want to see what this guy looks like. He's going to lose a couple steps. He takes so many hits and chooses to. And even when he should just go down, Deebo Samuels is like still running hard and chugging through. And that's what he fumbles. That's what he like hurts himself. It's always, I mean, he's always
living
getting
up
hurt,
to the name.
doing some goofy shit.
He bullies, snatches chains until Craig comes around and knocks his ass out.
It's almost like if they need to protect him the way they protect like they tell quarterbacks they need to just get down. Like Deebo Samuel just needs to get down. If he took less contact, he'd be available more.
Or how Greg Olson tells any player that he sees on TV jump over another player. Well, what are you doing? Stay on the ground, man. You're crazy.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that is kind of, you can get dinged up. But I mean, it was a good game. The defenses both played pretty good. But I'd have to say Mahomes is just superior I relinquish. I'm the worst. I said they wouldn't repeat, and they did. It sucks, but it fucking happened.
What do you give their percentage chance of being the first team to go 3?
I mean, they have a pretty good chance of it. We'll see what they do in the draft. Let's see what they can retain. There's a lot of people that are going to want to come back just for that. So you might see some.
See if what's his name?
Well, you might see some 1-year deals where people come in on a 1-year deal.
Tyreek.
No, but
He'll come back.
But you could see them potentially trading pieces. Like they might lose Snead. They might lose some other people to free agency. But it'll be interesting to see if they try to add more depth and talent through the draft, or if people go there to kind of like ride the coattails. Some of them will choose to stay for a year or wait to try to restructure their deals till after next year.
I think there's a high percentage Tyreek comes back just because the fact that right after he left, they won 2 in a row.
It'd have to be a trade.
God damn it.
No, it'd have to be a trade, and he's not going to do that. He's getting paid too much.
Oh, man. That Super Bowl bonus is always nice.
Dude, he has one of the biggest. He has the biggest wide receiver contract of all time. He does not need that. And he's in Miami. Can you imagine the perks he's getting for free? The shit that he gets for free just for being Tyreek Hill in Miami? Like, he could just do whatever the fuck he wants. Free meals. Like, he could just peruse around, live his best life. And everybody would enable it.
Give his kid lighters to burn his house down.
Yeah, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. But, Tyreek Hill is still not my favorite person. But
what about that halftime show?
You weren't into it?
I guess Joe's too young to enjoy the Usher fully.
But
you never cried to some Usher over some heartbreak or grabbed a girl's butt on the dance floor?
To experience the woes of teenagehood at that time.
Damn. I remember rubbing off some heartbreak to Let It Burn.
Let it burn.
Breakup song ever.
Let it burn.
I was so happy. I was on the fence. I was like, man, I don't know if he's gonna I was like, I don't know if Let It Burn or Burn fits a halftime show.
No, but he has so many songs. They did a good job of splicing them in. But it was good. It was chill. It didn't try to be anything it didn't need to be.
Well, it was. It's what I don't know if I said it on the podcast before the Super Bowl, but I said Vegas was fronting the bill to promote Usher's show at Caesars, and sure enough, dude, Alicia Keys, Ludacris.
I like that they brought out Luda. Gotta love Ludacris.
Dude, Dupree.
Yeah, and then he came out. I go, is that Jermaine Dupri? And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh shit, dude, that's Jermaine Dupri.
You know who I first thought it was with the helmet? I go, that Will I Am.
What did
I thought it was CeeLo Green.
But you know what was cool? Honestly, I think next year and moving forward, I'm gonna watch some games on Nickelodeon broadcast.
I wish
they've gotten so creative.
Memes.
They've gotten so creative with it. Like right now on the stream, I'm playing where they showed celebrities LeBron James and Finn Diesel. Then it's Billie Eilish, and it's like an eel. That's incredible. And then they have Herring Styles. Herring Styles.
Leonardo DiCaprio joke.
Oh yeah, dude. They made
25.
Yeah, dude.
It was like, oh my god.
But
I love it.
No, that they do such a good job. It's pretty awesome. You gotta give them credit. To get kids into watching the games, that's really smart. Honestly, that's smart.
That's what I'm telling you.
Smart marketing by the NFL. If
this becomes a thing every year where Nickelodeon gets this, there has to be a player. Because it's probably going to be a player reaching out to Nickelodeon and be like, yo, I know y'all do the broadcast. I'm probably going to get a touchdown. I need some motherfucking slime on my head. And have a backup uniform and everything ready.
No, they'll probably do something.
Get slimed at the end of a touchdown celebration.
No, what they'd probably do is have know where the Nickelodeon camera is and act like they're getting slimed, and they could digitally do it, especially if it was the Seahawks or something that was all green, like a green screen. But
Oh.
no, they do
Double Dare style.
Dude, they do a good fucking job, honestly. Like you gotta give them credit. They do a good job with
Yeah, I'm
that.
pissed I missed the Toy Story thing this year too. That's because that's the one I really wanted to watch too, and I forgot it was such an early game with the British
Did
timing.
did Brock Purdy play bad?
He
No,
played like
but
Brock
he didn't.
Purdy.
Yeah, he was himself. He didn't like, in my opinion, he didn't like the bar that I guess everyone's placed. He didn't step over it, and he didn't fall horribly under it. He just kind of
23 of 38 for 255 and 1 touchdown. Christian McCaffrey 8 for 30. Ayuk 3 for 49, 4 for 42, 3 for 33, 2 for 31, 1 for 19, 1 for 18, then 2 for 4. So Kittle not being involved is definitely big, but I mean you can't necessarily say he played bad.
No.
Mahomes was 34 of 46 for 333 with 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. They both threw the ball a lot, but they did try to run the ball. Like they both ran the ball over 20 times. Mahomes added another 9, and then Purdy had 3, but McCaffrey had 22. Then 3, 2, and 1. You know, I'm surprised they didn't try to run the ball more with Deebo Samuel, just to do a 1-2 punch at running, and really try to wear them down and try to assert their dominance. I'm shocked they didn't do that. If it's the Super Bowl, and like Mahomes said, like, you know, they're like, oh, he has an extra gear and he's talked about it, but he doesn't use it that much because it's more risky. He's like, yeah, like, I mean, yeah, the season's over, but I mean, that's not something the NFL fans want to hear. Oh, he goes hard all the time, except for he's going harder. He could go harder, but he doesn't want to get hurt. Now, granted, that makes sense, but that's some goofy shit to say.
Well, I feel like that's common with the NBA.
Yeah, but they
There's
just
a lot
sit
of
games
players
out.
in the regular season.
Mahomes isn't taking breaks because he's like, oh, I'm tired. It's different.
Right.
The NFL, the NBA season's so long. They're talking about shortening it, taking games out, putting in-season tournaments, like changing stuff to try to make it more appealing and have the players play more. Like people, like, you know, you could go buy Mavs tickets tomorrow. Luka might play.
Yeah, I guess if
Might
that's
play.
true, I guess D-Law needs to fucking retire. Did you hear his comment? Fucking idiot.
Well, if you're gonna go buy tickets to a Mavs game, and it's like Lakers Mavs, those tickets are gonna be hella expensive. But let's say it's Hornets. Hold on, but let's say it's Hornets Mavs, and the Hornets are coming to Dallas, and those tickets are like a third of the price, and you buy those. Luka might not play in that game, and that's the issue that the NBA has. There's like a credibility issue and effort. I'm not saying that that's always the case. I think there's a lot of players that play hard, but you could also make a case that there's some players that kind of coast through, take days off, wait. You know, there's a lot of these older football players. You used to see it like a Chad Lewis or some of these guys that would lurk around, and then they'd come out of, like, they weren't retired yet, and they'd like re-sign with the Eagles when the Eagles made the playoffs to try to go for a Super Bowl. You used to see that more in the NFL than you see it now, but that used to be a thing where people would lurk around, like what Dalvin Cook did, or like Le'Veon Bell, like trying to get signed to a team on a playoff run, right? But you see that more and more in the NBA. You see that in the NBA, and it's almost like they're kind of doing that in the regular season, where some of them take time off, post up. That's why they're changing rules about how long they can take off, because it's damaging their product and their credibility overall. So whenever someone like Mahomes is saying, oh, I don't try as hard all the time because it's too risky and I can get hurt, that does make sense, but the wording of it needs to be better. Like, oh, when I scramble, I really make sure to slide. I'm never going to really dive and go for the end zone. That's super risky during the regular season because the regular season's long. Lots of bumps and bruises. But in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, if I get hurt, I got all summer off. I can have surgery, right? If your quarterback was like, in the playoffs, I go a little bit harder because I can have surgery in the summer. You'd be like, damn, bro, that guy's cold as fuck. But if he's like, oh,
yeah,
well,
I'd rather hear that than what I heard from my fucking players.
What D-Law say?
Fucking, they asked him one of the reasons, like, they lost the game. He was just tired of playing football. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? It's playoffs and you're just burnt out from the season?
Well,
Wow.
I think
Get a new job.
no, I think that's players making excuses because they don't like how
But
long the
even
season
that,
was.
that's horrible even too. Like, okay, your excuse is bullshit. And then the wording and the way you said it is even like, I know you try to double down on your excuse, but man, now you sound like a fucking idiot.
What are your thoughts, 2.0?
I mean, the NFL is a little different than the NBA because you only play once a week. Yeah, the NFL, like, it's a grown man sport. Suck it up and play. Like, you don't get paid millions of dollars to, like, take a break when you're tired and whatnot. With the NBA, I feel like it's the same.
Well, yeah, but
You don't have to go all out for NBA games. You can kind of coast in games.
it's like baseball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, hockey's similar too. Like they even it's like a known thing. Like hockey playoffs, it's just like this intensity that really isn't seen a lot in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean,
But those we're talking literally we just mentioned three sports that have a lot of fucking games in the
no,
season.
no.
So
See, this is my problem. It has nothing to do with Mahomes, but I guess it does. It has nothing to do with Purdy, nothing to do with T Swift. But the NFL is running into this problem because
whoa,
hold on,
everything does
whenever
with
you
T-Swift.
look at the teams that have won a Super Bowl or been to the Super Bowl since 2011, I think that what the Niners were in the NFC Championship game in like 2011, 2014, 2015, lost. One of those was a Super Bowl. Then they've lost what? 3 NFC championship games and then a Super Bowl. Like the Niners have been representing a bunch. Like the Niners are the opposite of what the Chiefs dynasty is. This is literally like Bills Cowboys. Only
They're
like
the Niners of the
over
early '90s.
aside from having it be like we're playing each other in multiple Super Bowls, this was a rematch. When you look at what these franchises have done over the past like 15 years, they've really been able to accomplish a lot. And they're both like the NFL is kind of top heavy. So for me, that's why I'm like, this is like the Super Bowl we didn't want. Is because it's the same thing. If it was like Alabama versus Georgia in the championship game, we'd all groan and be like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Or if it was Notre Dame and Bama, or Clemson versus Michigan, or Michigan versus Bama, or Notre Dame. It's like, that's why we were like, oh, it's Washington. Oh, even Texas, it's been a while since they've been in the college championship or in the playoffs. Because it's the same teams constantly, and that's kind of what we're reaching with these two teams. And the Niners have been doing it longer than the Chiefs have. The Chiefs have been more successful in a shorter window, but when you look at least representations in NFC Championship games, the Niners have been to like 8 or something crazy in the past like 13, 14 years. It's something wild where they've been to a bunch and they fail. So they've actually got it worse than Cowboys fans. It's almost like it's almost worse because Cowboys haven't even been to one in almost 30 years, but to make it to one, at least the NFC Championship game, like 9 times in 15 years or something crazy like that, and to lose and then to make it to 2 Super Bowls in that period out of that many, that's wild. That's worse than when the Eagles lost 4 in a row and then lost the Super Bowl. I mean, but we've seen Andy Reid do this. So he's flipped the script because he did this in Philadelphia, but lost. Yeah. And now you see him, and he lost to the Tampa Bay defense team. He lost to that Tampa Bay team. Joe Juravicious, crazy ass catch for a touchdown. The Eagles lost that game to go to the Super Bowl, and they went on and went to beat the Raiders. It sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, to your point about the Cowboys, yeah, I definitely would rather be in the other room than someone say, "Hey, there's a buffet in the other room," and not see it. Just they say, "Oh, it's there," rather than be in the same room and hover the buffet and then like, you can't eat it. Just look. I'd be in the other room any day.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, they have the opportunity. There's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to leave. Like Chris Jones, he's always wanting more money and is like, give me goddamn money. He's saying at the parade he's not going anywhere. He has a chance to three-peat. So you're going to
San Francisco structured to keep their team?
No, San Francisco's kind of in salary cap hell. It doesn't look.
That's what I thought.
They have a lot of people that are up for free agency and people they need to pay and restructure. So this was like their last really good year to keep everybody on that Brock Purdy cheap salary because he's Mr. Irrelevant, so he's not getting paid dick. He's the lowest paid quarterback that came out in his draft, the lowest paid player probably that came out in his draft because he was the last one picked, right? He's probably got tons of endorsements and shit, like Carl's Jr. or Quickies or something. But I mean, he's not getting paid dick. Dak's was making double his rookie year. And you saw what the Cowboys could do in those pieces. It's going to be difficult to keep everybody.
Dude, Stars just scored again. It's 9-2.
9-2. Jesus Christ.
With 10 minutes left.
No, okay. Well, let's say it here. Put it on the record. Elwood, do the Chiefs repeat next year? Yes or no?
I mean, a little bit inside of me wants to see it, just because it's never been done. And hey, I'm always down for seeing something that's never been done in the history of a sport, and to be alive to see it. You know what I mean? I'm more interested in stuff like that, like at this time in my life, since my last Cowboy championships I can't even remember because I was so young. So it's like I'll just take what I can remember that happens in sports at this moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give them, if I'm a betting man, fuck it. I'll give them a 50-50 odd.
50-50, that's pretty good.
50%. That's what they got.
2.0.
And honestly,
I really don't want them to three-peat, so I'm going to say no.
Of course. The
I
only
give
person I
them,
see stopping it.
The only team I really think can is the Bengals. Need Joey Burrow to be healthy again. Need them to figure their shit out.
Yeah, I think that's the only team to really not allow it.
I think I'd give them like a 25-30%.
What about you, Jay?
I'd say they got like a 30% chance of repeating. I think the division is pretty weak. You'll have Harbaugh coming back. Broncos still.
Joe, you gonna take that?
Kind of on a rebuild. Raiders implementing
He's
something.
not wrong.
Raiders implementing something new again for the M-tillionth time. Probably have someone like Jalen Daniels or Bo Nix or somebody, a quarterback. So you'll see some growing pains there. They have talent, but Jalen Daniels could come in there and ball out, but that's still going to be a difficult division for them. So they're obviously, in my opinion, a shoe-in to win the division, which creates kind of an easy path for them towards the Super Bowl, at least a home game, even if it's a wild card home game. But I like their chances of being able to pull that off. Now, I say 30 because I'm still going to take the field. I like that 70% chance of somebody else beating them. I think the Raiders, obviously the Niners. I think the Lions could be coming back with a vengeance. That team got a lot of experience. They had a lot of young talent. They're going to be able to grow more through the draft again. And they already have some really good talent like a Deion Branch and others on their defense. So you'll look for them to add more pieces. Obviously, I do think the Eagles are going to be a little bit more competitive. I think it's honestly people kind of thinking that they won't be is probably better for them. What is it? I mean, it's wild to think that Jalen, not to even just be talking, but Jalen Carter was statistically one of the best defensive tackles all year in football. But he got a little bit gassed. So you'll see, I think, at the end of the year, I think you saw a lot of these young rookie guys get gassed throughout this season. So hopefully he continues to grow. But I think that 70% chance of somebody else being able to beat him, I like that. I like those 7 let's just say it's 7 teams giving them one of them a shot to beat them. But I mean, a 30% chance going in to repeat as champs, I think, is good. It's never a shoo-in. They were also really healthy at the end of the year, which helped them out a lot. Definitely. I mean, they get McKinnon back for the Super Bowl. I mean, everybody's as healthy as they've basically been all year when they're going into that game. I think they were missing pieces on San Francisco on the defensive side, but it's still, not an excuse not to try to make it like that. And they didn't play Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney has 2 Super Bowl rings. Does that make you mad?
Yes.
What a douche, right? He's like, I mean, I don't like follow him on social media. I don't know what his presence is, but he could be like worse than Antonio Brown because he's got 2 Super Bowl rings already. He's 3 years in the league, right? Rookie year was with New York and didn't even play. Then got traded to Kansas City. Won a Super Bowl. And then played this year. And then won another Super Bowl. He's probably going to get cut. He's got a first-round contract.
Yeah.
He's got a first-round contract. How's the hockey game there, Smellwood?
Still 9-2. Yeah, when I said, oh, hold up, there was a huge fight.
How'd you do on your bets 2.0?
The under came in as close as they can get. 49ers money line did not hit, but it was under 47.5.
Yeah.
Total came in at 47.
Oh,
We were going
wow.
into over. Like, I was feeling good the entire time. We go into overtime. I'm like, fuck. Because overtime usually means that that the under isn't gonna hit.
And you picked the under, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that lost money on the over.
Mm-hmm. But like that's so cliche for the Super Bowl though, because like everybody bets an over in the Super Bowl because that's what they want to see, and it's not always gonna be the move. Sometimes you just gotta go with your gut. I guess.
You had 2 defenses that have been playing good all playoffs. That have been honestly out.
2 good round games.
That you could make a case that in at least one game apiece, their defense outplayed their offense, and that allowed their offense to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
So how could you be shocked that? Yeah, but I saw that. What else did you hit on? Anything else? Didn't Brock Purdy kneel down? Did you pick over 12.5?
Yeah.
And then he got 12 because he kneeled. There's a play where he kneeled and he lost a half yard.
That hurt. I bet tails on the coin toss, just cause went heads.
There was heads.
Yeah.
Told you.
So you
Always
guys were
heads,
right.
man.
You were right. You guys picked heads, just cause.
Heads drops them dead.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes did throw an interception, so lost that bet.
Yeah, and he had an
Brock
all
Purdy
playoff.
didn't though.
Yeah,
Not
but
what I expected would happen.
yeah, and he'd been on like a pretty good run of not throwing interceptions for like completions and attempts in the playoffs, consecutive games, and then he throws a pick, but they still win the game. I mean, Mahomes is the truth. It's annoying. He's kind of a little bitch and complains about hits and stuff a little more than I'd like, but he's the truth, man. He's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
Oh,
And
Travis
it's like,
Kelce over on receiving yards hit as well.
You saw that it was like that. You left like, oh, they didn't score. I was like, oh, they didn't score a touchdown. They just got a field goal. I was like, this game's over. He's just going to march down the field. And the whole world felt like that the moment that happened. We were all like, fuck, the Chiefs are going to win. And like to have that mystique. And what's crazy is that's his first overtime win in all of his career. Patrick Mahomes has not won an overtime game, any post-regulation game in his career. He's lost every overtime game he's played. Think
How
about
many?
it. And that's his first win for the Super Bowl, throwing the touchdown. Perfectly drawn up play. The moment he ran that route, I was like, game. Like Andy Reid just set it up. Like you can tell that they've had that play drawn up. They were just saving it. And then you hear all this crazy shit that's coming out of these locker rooms. Like, there was no plan for overtime. They didn't have a game plan for overtime. That's what they're saying in San Francisco. I mean, you can't really criticize him.
Or the players saying they didn't know the rules of overtime.
Well, that
happens.
That happens all.
The rules either.
Well, because they changed them.
Did.
Well, they changed the rules
playoffs.
to where, like, if you score a touchdown, the other team gets to answer. So if you score a touchdown, they get an opportunity to score a touchdown. So if you get a field goal and they get a field goal, it's still tied. But if they get a field goal and you get a touchdown, they win. It's like matching for matching. It's basically like going one round
of college.
Yeah, it's like college once. Yeah. College once. It's no longer first touchdown wins.
It's fair to me.
No, definitely. And, you know, it's just wild to hear that they didn't have a game plan. They didn't discuss this. They, you know, and I'm not saying that Shanahan, he's good on offense, so I'm not saying that he does. But, I mean, you'd think after all these games that he's lost and Super Bowls he's been a part of that he's lost, like he'd have some sort of fucking game plan drawn up. That's kind of what you're known for. Like, would Sean McVay have a game plan drawn up? Probably. Like, you know, there's some coaches that weren't in the Super Bowl that would be more prepared, it seemed like. And that's how they kind of looked on offense all playoffs. You saw Brock Purdy look pretty human in one game in the playoffs. And he didn't look extraordinary in this game. But we saw lots of games where the defense played good and then Mahomes made extraordinary plays when he needed to. And that was the difference.
That's why he's the best quarterback in the league.
So whenever they're like, Brock Purdy's a game manager, it's like, well, no. And I'm not saying that he is. He's obviously a very good quarterback, very accurate, makes good decisions, and plays through his reads. But he plays through his reads. Like, you can see where Mahomes is like, fuck it, I gotta get something done. And that to have that ability, that scramble ability, and Brock Purdy can scramble too, but it's not as impactful. It's not the same, you know? Like, and you could see where they were trying to keep Mahomes in a box. And as it continued, it was just like, nah, man, like, he's just going to do what he does. And if you make him make quick decisions, like in the Eagles Super Bowl, he'll sit there and snap the ball around all day. Andy Reid is prepared. He has an offense. He has plays drawn up for in overtime, fourth down. You know, and if you don't get that touchdown, that's what they're saying. They're saying illegal man downfield, be a 10-second runoff. I don't think it is. But it's crazy. I mean, they ran that shit all the way down, man. They ran that shit all they drew that shit out. And that's kind of ballsy too, when you think about it. To not try to call a timeout, come up with the play, or not try to, you know what I'm saying? Like, just sit there, line up, call it, and it was executed. It was a good play, man. They deserve it. It's annoying. Just because now it's and then it's just going to drone on, and we're going to have to hear of another year of this shit. So it's like, I wanted it to be the Lions. I wanted it to be the Ravens. I wanted some other story, some other storyline. And it's always the Niners losing to somebody from the AFC at this point. If it's not Tom Brady, now it's Patrick Mahomes.
Mm.
Well, are y'all?
Yeah, someone asked me
Are y'all ready for the draft?
To win, to see who gets Caleb Williams, and then him not do anything. Yeah,
it'll be interesting. This is going to be a good draft. This draft's going to be pretty interesting. And the Eagles might be trading Hassan Reddick. What? Well, they said he can explore trades. He wants a $25 million a year deal.
Oh yeah, you see Cowboys.
That's not the Cowboys, but that's something the Cowboys do.
I'm talking about Cowboys homecoming for the old Zimmer.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I don't hate it, honestly. I'm glad he's back with the organization because talking with his daughter that I used to be friends with back in the day, she told me how fucked up the situation was when Jason Garrett got the job. And how literally Zimmer was getting groomed to be the head coach. Jerry had even told him, like, you know, this is our plan for you, and then pretty much screwed him last minute. And that's why he was like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to fucking Minnesota.
Yeah.
And he did good for Minnesota. Didn't he take him? He took him to a Super Bowl, right? Or did he win?
No, they lost on the way when the Eagles won their Super Bowl. They had the miracle. Miracle in Minnesota, and then the
That's right.
Eagles kicked the shit out of them like 38 to like 7 or something, and then they won the Super Bowl in Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota.
Yeah, he's a good defensive.
No, that's good. He's a
know.
good dude. I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, we grew up kind of around him, so you know, we have like some of us in this area have a personal connection to the family. They're really good people, so I'm happy for him. I mean, we'll see what they're able to get done. There's just a lot of turmoil coming out of the locker room. Like, what's been interesting is shit coming out of the Broncos locker room. Nothing. Think about where they finished, how things went. Shit coming out of the Eagles locker room, medium. It's mostly like, are they going to trade someone? It's all people stirring shit up. But, you know, people like Kelsey and them are still in the public spotlight, so it's not as crazy. But there's been a lot of crazy shit that's been coming out from people like D-Law, from these random ass fucking people like CD Lamb's second cousin. They're all trying to stir shit up.
CD did have a statement either today or yesterday that I really liked from him, and he said it's time for him to grow up. You know, he thinks Dak can take this team to the Super Bowl, but after he said that is what I really liked. He said, you know, Dak's a leader, but he can't be the only leader on this team. And, you know, he can't have all this. He, pretty much saying, you know, he wanted to be the dude to take off pressure off Dak, and he wants to be a leader too. And I was like, fuck yeah, CD.
Yeah,
like,
but dude, this dude's one of like
you got
the best
talent. Now it's
yeah, but he's one of the best receivers in the league. So for him to say that, like, he already is being a leader on the team. I would say that he's.
But you know, if you noticed his sideline demeanor, he is either like kind of stone cold dead face or kind of upset. There's not like this, like, you know, unless they're scoring and stuff. Of course,
like
everyone's
Jalen
happy.
Hurts, like Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, like licking them wins.
Oh,
Do you see him at Mardi Gras?
Eating a W. Eating a W.
You see the Mardi Gras eating a W?
Yeah, eating a W is great. Well, man, I appreciate you guys sticking around for this season, man.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a couple weeks off.
I think honestly we should, because even if like other sports and stuff we can throw in there or not, but I would be so down to once it starts to do like a little coverage on the new spring league.
Well, I want to do something where maybe we watch the games, and we watch them,
cool.
and then we watch them together. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to do that.
Doesn't
I want to
Dallas
do
have a
that
team?
I want to do that for the draft. That'd be cool.
I know Dallas had an XFL team, and
Yeah, they won, dude.
if they're merging,
Arlington.
oh, Arlington.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, something I might do if you're interested, the rodeo is going to be at Global Life. I think in March or April. I thought, man, I haven't been to a rodeo since I was a kid. That'd be fun.
I'm gonna buy World Cup tickets.
Ooh, is that not this summer?
It's
but
2026.
Mhm.
So, whoa, 2 summers, okay.
So
Wait, you're not gonna fly to Paris to see the Olympics?
no, but I go see it in Jerry World.
Yeah.
The
I know. I wonder if Jerry gets a USA bid, where he's like, no.
Well, they
we have
wanted
to
the
give it
championship.
USA.
They lost the championship game because of like bad public transportation and commuting, getting around Dallas is too difficult. So they have a semifinal game, but Dallas missed out on the bid for the final game.
Who got the final?
I want to say it's either Vegas or no, it was MetLife Stadium in New York.
That's right.
MetLife in New York.
I guess
Worst turf in the world.
They complain about public transportation, and then they're like, how fitting, New York, the biggest public transportation city in the country.
Yeah. So, but that definitely.
Fun fact, I actually learned from a engineer while I was in New York City, because I don't know the last time you were in the city or have been. Stuff's always under construction, and especially like subways are shut down here or there, and they're working on certain sections. But one of the guys in the subway was telling me I don't even think it was a year. It was like 6 months or something. But if they stopped doing the construction and repairs on the subway system, the whole city would sink and like plummet onto the subway system because they say of just how much weight and all the infrastructure that they're just constantly pretty much patching and repairing and doing. I was like, that's fucking nuts.
Well, they've built shit on top of shit.
Well, yeah, like
Listen.
abandoned shit. Yeah, yeah.
So, but no, I appreciate you guys. It's been another good season.
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna switch it up because we're gonna start doing this. I've already been working on it, but we're gonna do it through Zoom. So I'm gonna start ripping the audio, and then I'm gonna go through and rip the whole catalog's audio, so then we can just listen. So if you can't watch, you can still listen. It'll be easier to share, right? It'll still be. So what we'll do is we'll record them, and then I'll post them after we record. So they won't necessarily. We could do them live, but they might not always be live. We'll see. I'm gonna mess with it. I'm gonna tweak some stuff, but no, I appreciate you guys being here as always. Smellwood and 2.0. No, Mr. Goody.
Told you.
We'll try to get him to come back.
You had hope. You had hope.
Well, and he's responding, talking smack again. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, hey, but then nothing. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I almost forgot he was in that chat again. I was like, oh, who's
well,
that?
There's two chats.
I heard
there's
the comment, and I was like, oh.
There's two chats, because one day he said something in the chat. I think it was after the Cowboys lost. And then so he popped it back up, because I started another chat group that's just us, so we're not, bombarding him. And then and then you used the chat, because I guess that was up towards the top, so you just used it instinctively. And then it cycled through again, but it's all good.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I guess. Yes, I guess I messaged that group first. No.
Yeah. Well, for that one you did. So that one
okay.
you sent it through that group, and then he yeah. But either way, I love you guys.
I know it's some time off. You work in St. Patty's again?
And I wore the Buck shirt for the old.
Oh wait,
man,
no, you're
for
not.
the old man.
You're not going to be working St. Patty's.
No, not the big parade. No, I'll be off.
Because that restaurant doesn't exist, right?
Yeah. Well, so I might try to go down there and check it out, but no, I'll be doing stuff. I'm going to Vegas pretty soon, so you guys need to come. 2.0. We'll talk off air. I think Lauren's coming. Goody might come.
Well, then I will.
I'll zip it. You can.
I bid you adieu.
Oh, get out of here.
Have fun with Mr. Goody.
Oh, so
dramatic. Vegas with that guy? That just sounds miserable.
No, you guys are more similar than you realize. That's why you guys argue all the fucking time.
Yeah, probably.
Because you're both dicks. That's what it is. So y'all should unite. You should just unite.
I don't know him well enough to like him as an Eagles fan. So it's the Eagles fan first that's instantly
and y'all are both. He's really good at poker, man. Y'all are both big poker dudes, big time poker dudes.
Ooh, I'd love to go head to head.
He goes to a card room 2-3 times a week out in LA that he's really good at. He's really fucking good at playing cards.
Yeah, he's good at fucking getting under people's skin.
If somebody
fucking up your play.
If somebody told me, well, he plays tons of online tournaments, studies hands, where he's like you, where it's if somebody asked me who are 4 or 5 people that that are really good at poker, you wouldn't want to play with, you'd both be on that list. I'd play with y'all, but I'd probably lose. I win when I play with other people. I'd probably lose to y'all, just because that's how y'all are built. Just saying, y'all are more similar than you realize.
Actually, the only times I've ever walked away from casinos with guaranteed money is when I only play poker.
See, I'm a dice guy.
If I play anything else, I'm done.
Dice guy.
Well, I found out my favorite game is apparently the worst odds out of the whole house for you, and that's roulette.
Yeah, roulette. No, I don't play roulette.
But I love roulette, man. It's so fun. But I'm a black or red guy. I don't kind of fuck with the numbers. But then one dude was breaking down the table with me last time about the rows and shit, and I was like, well, that's more fucking I could be down for that.
No, that sounds
betting the sections rather than just one number and hoping it hits. Getting me some.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, boys. Well, we'll call this a wrap. We will be back with 45 in the books. Chiefs win the Super Bowl, back-to-back champs. We're going to come back. It'll be a little bit different, but like I said, I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks again, as always.
Yes, sir.
Good night, boys.
And that's it. Season 2 in the bags. Angry Black Quarterback episode number 45. We'll be back in a few weeks. Different setup. Love you guys. Appreciate you being here as always. I'm going to go eat some Fruit Loops and play some Fortnite. It'll be great. Peace.